So what was going on before the patches is, and hey everyone, glad you're here. Um, I got in a car accident about 2006, I think it was. I was hit by a car on my bike and flipped over, and I thought I was fine. I got right up, went to the hospital. Great, great. 6 months later, I had a lot of sciatica and problems, and started my chiropractic journey, and I managed it. I managed it, I thought, pretty well with that. And he told me I'd never be cured. I would just manage it. So I did. And then fast forward to this year, I started having more and more pain. And so I can't pronounce it either, Jody. Spondyloleos. I don't know. The doctors on this probably can, but I can't. But it basically means that your vertebrae, it slipped down into my L4, L5 as a result of this accident. It just deteriorated over time. I have degenerative disc disease and bone spurs, and I hit a tipping point, and I blamed it on going to Orange Theory and walking 6, 8 miles a day. I blamed it on moving. I blamed it on all kinds of things, but they just said it got worn down, and I'm in a pretty advanced stage of that. Um,
Right.
and lots and lots of pain, and they were trying to prevent surgery and for slipping even further, which would be bad. So
Right. And you also have pinched nerves. You might have just said that, but pinched
yeah,
nerves.
all that caused an impingement. So I had nerve pain, all low back, all the way down my knee to sometimes lower than that.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where has your pain level been in the past year or two?
Well, it's really just been this year. It was this year it started getting worse and worse and worse. And I got to the fall, and it was probably about a 12. Some days it felt like a 20. They always ask you that when you go to chiropractor, what's your pain level? And I'm like, can I put down 100? And they said, no, what? It was always the top, the high pain. I couldn't walk for more than a minute at a time, or I couldn't do anything. I couldn't stand or walk for a minute. Every time I got up, the timer went off, and I couldn't even brush my teeth. I couldn't make my bed. It took me forever to do everything. It was
Oh,
awful. Yeah.
that is terrible. Now, how did you hear about the patches?
So, and going through all this and trying every holistic thing you could imagine and spending a ton of money, I just happened to see a post on Facebook from a wonderful friend. I don't know if she's on, but Heather Robinson. She just happened to, she put up she had her hand up, and this is not the right patch, but she said the power of the patch, and she had
Yeah.
it like that, and she was just talking about it. And I said, what are you talking about? What is this thing? And she told me, and one thing led to another. And I said, why not? It's another holistic approach that I was totally into. So I was willing to give it a try. I was desperate at that point.
I think when I met you around the 1st of December at our meeting in Charlotte that you'd been patching maybe 10 days, 2 weeks. So you started about the end of November, middle of November.
It was the end of November I started, and I started every day prior to the patching, despite, just I want everyone to know the number of things that I tried, from chiropractic 3 or 4 times a week, professional stretching, PT, deep tissue massage, CBD drops and creams and oils. And I took every supplement you can imagine to try to help this, ice and heat and baths every day, and nothing was touching this pain.
Right.
So when I started patching, it was an immediate relief for me.
Right.
Nerve pain is it's the devil, basically. So I had a real hard time, but it came down a little. But then I started having one good day, and then I'd have two decent days. The day I met Jody and I went to the meeting, I was not having a good day. I brought my heating pad, I plugged it into the only plug in the room, and I squirmed the whole time but shortly thereafter, things started improving.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell us how it's improved. How are you feeling today?
Well, today, amazingly enough, my chiropractors watched me walk in like a crippled old lady. I know sometimes you guys show before and after. There's no way to show before and after of this, but and the last time I went to him about 3, 4 weeks ago, he said, "What is going on?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. There's no pain." Like, it's a zero. And he's like, "No way." And I said, "Yeah." So he still wants me to come, but I haven't been back yet. Not that I won't. It's just I'm good. I'm really good. I don't need the pain patches anymore. I do use all the other patches. I use the glutathione, the X39, the Eon, Energy Enhancer, LV. I use them all, but I don't need the pain patch right now.
That is awesome. And if you guys, there are a lot of people that are getting on late, Kim. So I just want to reiterate that Kim was hit by a car when she was on her bicycle in 2000. Did you say six? 2006. And she has been in a lot of pain since then, particularly in the last couple years with degenerate disc and pinched nerves and all kinds of things with her back. And, I think it's interesting, Kim, because I know you were not a one patch wonder. And, after a few weeks, I think you were wondering, is this really going to work for me? So what made you stick with it?
Well, when I went to that meeting, we all want a miracle cure, and I knew it wouldn't be a miracle, but you just have this thing where I'm getting when you are in that much pain, you're desperate and you want something, just please help me a little bit. And I was getting discouraged because I'd have a decent day and then not so good. And there was somebody, and I'm sorry I don't remember her name if she's on here, but she stood up and talked about her parents that were 85 years old and bedridden, and she patched them, and now they're ballroom dancing. And I went up to her during the break and I said, that's so inspiring. And she said, girl, what's your name? And God bless you. It's all this. I'm not Southern, you guys. I can't even do the accent. So I said to her, she said, you got to believe, because she goes, are you new? Are you still in pain? I said, yes, I'm still in pain. She said, you got to believe. You've got to believe. Have faith and keep doing it, because it is healing you and you don't know it. So I think what happened for me was the pain patch did help knock it down a little bit, but it was the inflammation patch, I believe, and the X39 that things started healing and causing. And so the impingement, that nerve pain was the worst. And that started dissipating and things started getting better. So I said, all right, I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to keep doing it. So I
Oh, that is
appreciate her. I
awesome.
wanted to say too, Jody, if you don't mind, that for anyone that's on here, that as we share this with other people, the number one, they of course they're skeptical. Really, this little thing can do that. Then the money comes into play, and it can be a tall order for people to spend this kind of money. But when you really break down what you spend on trying to get well,
Yep.
and I was spending upwards of $300 a week on everything I was doing that wasn't working. And now I probably spend $90 a week on all the patching I do. And you break it down to $12 or $13 a day, and people spend that at Starbucks. So if
Absolutely.
you think that when your health is way too important, so you got to stick to it. I did have somebody I enrolled, and she wouldn't wait long enough. She waited and she got her money back. She said it's
Yeah.
not working, and I'm like, it's too bad she didn't give it a little more time to work.